So usually people ask me first thing, where are you from? I say that I'm from Mother Earth, and they laugh.
Yeah.
And then I say, well, maybe you want to ask a different question. Then I say, oh, where were you born, etc. And then conversation starts. But if I get a chance to introduce myself, then I usually say that I'm an artist, I'm a poet, I'm a forest fairy. And yeah, right now I guess I'm a kind of an entrepreneur.
Yes. So what does entrepreneur mean in your um, scenario, and what is the role of the entrepreneur versus artist?
Well, I guess an artist is also an entrepreneur
Mm-hmm.
in general, an artist who wants to be successful, who wants to exhibit, sell their work, expand their network. I guess that right now in the world of art, they say that it's like 5% art, so
Yeah.
5% artistic process, and then the rest is maybe 15%, okay, hopefully, and then the rest is hustle. And so yeah, usually that's in the arts, that is true, fortunately or unfortunately, so we have to adapt a lot. But also in the sense of why I'm calling myself right now entrepreneur is because I founded Eternal Forest project already 7 years ago, and at the moment it's going through some big transformation. It's at the edge of some really incredible new beginning. A cycle of 7 years has passed. It has been a lot of exploration, and I'm going to share a bit more today, I feel like. And now we're entering a stage where a kind of organization and foundation will emerge with a team, with a council, with a budget, with a proper, plan of action, with partner network, and we're gonna start working more hands-on and more in a physical sense, manifesting 1,000 eternal forest sanctuaries
Wow.
to be built around the world and to be protected for 1,000 years.
Thousands is not 144. It's a
It is,
lot.
no, wait. It's 144. How many times? Oh, my math is so bad.
At least
Several times.
three,
You guys can
five
count.
and
Yeah,
more.
okay. So
So it's a
yeah.
lot. It's so why 1,000 though? Why do you think we need so many forests, eternal forests, and what does it mean, eternal forest?
Exactly. So first of all, what does it mean, eternal forest? So eternal forest is a forest that, as it says, eternal. I believe that actually every forest, when allowed to be, can be eternal and can really develop forever. Even the scientists that believe that there is so-called climax forest. So when forest evolves, it evolves in phases, it evolves in stages. And for example, forest can start evolving from after some kind of event, after a fire or after some kind of devastating event or clear cut. And then when the seeds come back, it starts first coming the pioneer plants, and then other species, and then forest starts being established. It's a young forest, let's say 50 years, even 100 years considered to be a young forest. Then forest can undergo certain big events again. So for example, a disease might strike and whole bunch of species can be wiped out and other species can enter and get established, and so on. And these cycles repeat forever and ever. In the Mediterranean climate where we are working primarily right now, there's a lot of fires, and this climate also evolved with fires. Right now the fires are related to totally different thing, and we can also speak about that. But generally speaking, those cycles, they make stable forests. So they make resilient, stable forest that can really be resilient in the long term. And then when those species get established, the trees grow older, then other trees fall, then you get the formation of this kind of layers on the ground. And so the more of that we have, the more stable is the ecosystem, and the more features we can say old growth forest has.
Right.
And there are some organisms, for example, that we don't find at all in young forest. They only come to old growth forest. They appear when the forest is truly
Right.
established after 500 years and more.
500 years and more.
Sometimes 400 years, but more or less. So some types of mosses, some types of mushrooms, some types of flowers, and certain trees, they can grow and they can exist literally forever, like yew tree, for example. That young yew tree is basically like really, really, um, it's just a little tree, but then the tree becomes truly old when it becomes empty from the inside,
Right.
and it continue growing for 1,000 years. And yeah, there are certain beings that exist on a very different time scale. So other than human beings sounds. So anyway, that's the concept of eternal forest, and why 1,000 years is because of that. So I'm thinking in forest time, so I call it forest time. And the way I like to propose it is, let's think about human time on one side of the spectrum, which is very, we can relate to human time very clearly and easily, even on the time cycle of 3 generations. This is very human time still. But then imagine we have deep time, geological time, the time of formation of mountains and
Yeah.
layers of rocks and crystals and all of
Yeah.
that. So this is another dimension of time, and this is very hard for human beings to understand. So how about finding something in the middle, which is forest time, which we can still relate to, can support, can plant trees, can observe their growth, can leave something to the future generations. And by stewarding those forests, we can actually observe how they how they evolve and how they develop and how they get established. So 1,000 years is basically forest time.